Do y'all want a reminder of why we are very, very old people? This year marks 30 years, my God, I feel it in my bones. 30 years since the year 1996. That means I have CDs back there older than some of y'all watching this video right now. We need to do better. Anyway, if you're new to the game, I have to tell you that 1996 is one of my favorite years in music. We were getting legit classics, albums and songs on a weekly basis. It was insane, the level of quality and the music that would go on to influence both hip hop and R&B during this time period. I love it so much. That's why my standards are so high. I lived through 1996. It was dope. So what we're going to do today is we're going to run back the old tier list because I'm going to follow up on something we did a few months ago when I looked at the top #1 R&B Billboard singles of 1995. I'm running it back. We are going to look at the top R&B Billboard singles for 1996. Get ready. Hits are on the way, players. Welcome back to another edition of the Soul and Stereo Sessions. I can't wait for this one, and I'm glad you're joining me today. So, as I said earlier, we are running back the tier list, and we are going to look at the #1 singles from 1996. D Roth, my good man, show the people the tier list and what we're working with this time. All right, so there it is. We got the tier list. We've got the album covers. Well, I guess single covers in this case below. Y'all know how it works. S tier, that's the top. That's the tippity top. We've got A for the bangers, B tier, C tier, and you don't want to end up in player please tier. That's never a good thing. So, y'all know the rules. Y'all know how it is. Every single on this list will break down the year of 1996, and we're going to rank them as far as quality, classic materials, and how much I love them. A lot of this will be personal preference because almost every song on this list in terms of impact and quality is probably going to be S tier, and that would be very boring. So I'm going to inject a little bit of myself, but I'm going to keep it unbiased because I am your unbiased album reviewer here on the internet. But before we get started, let's do a little bit of house cleaning. Y'all know how it goes, but I must admit, your boy has a confession he has to make. So this is around the time where I tell you to make sure you like, make sure you share this video, and most importantly, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I always talk about how it's so easy to do a click. One click for you means a lot for me. I realize that I watch a lot of videos on YouTube pretty regularly, some channels multiple times a week. And I never subscribe. I mean, I will go to their channel, see if they got something new. I will watch it immediately when it drops, but I still don't subscribe. Don't be like me. Be better than me. Because what I'm asking you today is to make sure you hit the like button right now. Go ahead and just click it right now. Save you some time. And if you haven't already, don't be like old Uncle Ed. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button on this channel and any channel you support because it means a lot for us creators. The more likes, the more subscriptions, the more our content will be pushed out there, and the more we will be encouraged to give y'all some love with new content. And of course, once this video is done, and I know you're going to love it, make sure you share it with an R&B fan in your life. So let's get going. A reminder before we get going though, this is the #1 R&B singles on the Billboard chart for 1996, but we had a lot of crossover. So don't be surprised to see quite a few hip hop songs on this list as well. That's just how it worked back then. Don't get mad at me and say, oh, that's not R&B. That's right, player. It was #1 on the charts. I can't help it. That's what's on the charts. So we're going to go through the charts month by month. Let's get it going. Classics on the way. All right, we are starting off basically how we ended the list in 1995. For the first 2 weeks of January, we have Whitney Houston and Shoop, 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 Man, Shoop, Shoop. I can't keep a straight face for that song. I talked about how much I love that song before, and even though that Shoop, Shoop was quite annoying and it was just almost like a placeholder ad lib, it became iconic, and the song was based around the Shoop. So again, this is a great song. We kind of already talked about it before, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. D Roth, go ahead and rocket that one up to A tier. I think that's where we had it before. I will also leave a link to the 1995 list if you want to check that one out. It's a little comparison piece if you want to. But we know Whitney. We know this was an A tier song, and it shows how dominant the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack was in the year of 95 going into 96. Best believe we got some more Waiting to Exhale coming up real soon. All right, up next, y'all, for January 20th and 27th, my girl Monica is here, and I got a little surprise for you. So this is actually 2 singles in one. We've got Before You Walk Out of My Life and Like This and Like That. This is called a double A-sided single. This was very common in 1996. You had like 2 singles sold as one thing back when you actually had to buy music. You got 2 singles for the price of one. Not really the price of one, because they did jack the price up on you. But yes, this is a double A-sided single. So this has a chart placement, even though it's 2 distinct songs that we remember very, very well. So first, let's talk about Before You Walk Out of My Life, because that is a signature song for Monica at this point. My gosh, shout out Andrea Martin, Soul Shark and Carlin. Great production, great writing. And I know that the memes have turned this song into one thing: Monica's shoes. And I'll be honest, my grandma had that same pair of shoes. Y'all put that 15-year-old girl in them shoes on TV. It was a different time and different place, but we're talking about the song. The song's an absolute banger, and it's absolutely one of her best songs. However, one of her most underrated songs to me is Like This and Like That. Love this song. Gave her so much of a hip-hop edge that was kind of Monica's lane at the time. She was kind of like the round the way girl, like your hood chick, but in a good way. Like that was kind of her vibe. And Mr. Malik on this song, y'all, he was rapping like he was like, look, this is my chance. This is my chance to shine. I feel a woo coming on, cuz. I feel a woo coming on, cuz. Whoop, there it was. It's like, what you talking about, Malik? His verse was ridiculous, but it's so memorable. Monica had so much personality in this song. Great, great song. Oh, love it. These double singles, and there are quite a few on this list, they're going to be hard to rank because we're talking about 2 different songs, but I want to put them together since they kind of were both number ones together. I think that I'm going to go A tier for this combination of singles because I almost want to put Before You Walk Out of My Life as S. And I think Like This and Like That is A. I don't know. Let's go A tier. Let's go A tier, D Roth. I think that's fair. We'll go A tier for both of these. All right, next up from February 3rd all the way to March 2nd, she had a whole month's run. We had another from the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack, Mary J. Blige, Not Gon Cry. And one thing she could not do is pronounce secretary. Oh my gosh, my girl was struggling. What was your lover and your secretary? Anyway, another song that I really liked because to me, this was the evolution or the continuation of the story of I'm Going Down. Like Mary in 94 after the My Life album, she was known as the broken-hearted girl, always sad, always stuff was going wrong. At this point, though, she was taking her power back. She's like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to shed a tear. I'm done with you, dude. And this is her getting her power back. Again, one of those signature songs from that incredible soundtrack that would, of course, land also on her album that would drop the following year, her 3rd album. So, as a song, this is an absolute classic. It's an absolute classic. But this may be because this song was played into the absolute dirt at the time. I don't want to go S tier with this one. This one is another one that feels like A tier to me. Y'all probably going to be hot, but I don't know. It doesn't, to me, quite hit the level of S tier. Great song, but Lord knows we heard it time and time and time and time and time again in 1996. A tier it is. All right, from March 9th to April 20th, we got R. Kelly, Down Low. And D Roth, we gonna leave this one down low, right on the list where it is. Don't even bother. Next song, please. All right, for the week of April 27th, we have SWV and You're the One. This is the first single from their sophomore album, and it was a different sound from way more upbeat. But this is one of those tricky songs, because if you aren't careful, this is one of those songs that's like, oh, they're talking about how much they're in love. No, they're talking about creeping. This song is about dirt. They are doing dirt. Coco and them, they doing dirt on this song. But you kind of miss it because you're too busy. You're too busy doing well, I was going to say the Diddy Bop. We can't say that anymore. The Bankhead Bounce. We can't, man, y'all messing up everything. Between that last song and this one, you're taking everything. Anyway, the point is this song was so much fun and energetic, and it was a great new sound for them. But I must admit, I never loved this song as much as a lot of other people did. They've had much better singles, but for a return, I thought it was just okay. This is another one that they played absolutely to death, but I didn't love this one as much as many do. I'm going to go B tier. Okay song, but we get much, much, much better songs in the coming months. All right, for the week of May 4th, with just a 1 week reign, I can't believe this only had 1 week, we have Mariah Carey, Always Be My Baby. I can't believe it because I felt like this song was everywhere for like 24 months, but the charts don't lie. They don't lie. This is what we got. This is another one that's just like an absolute classic. So this one's interesting because I remember seeing the video for the first time, and it was just her swinging by like the lake or something. And then immediately, like a few hours later, I saw the remix video with So Def and Escape and the Brat, and it was completely different energy. It was black and white. It was like a completely different song. I love how Mariah was always able to reinvent herself with her hip hop remixes. For that though, I think we should only stick with the original version for this ranking. And for that, I do think the original is a little bit of the lesser version. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. It's kind of that dreamy R&B pop that she does so effortlessly. If we were talking about the remix, I go S tier. But this, I'm just going to give the original an A tier ranking. It's great, but it's not like, it's not giving me that kind of power to get it all the way to the top. All right, y'all. Somebody hold on to Uncle Charles, y'all, because from May 11th to June 22nd, we have the #1 hit from Bone Thugs and Harmony and the Crossroads. Oh man, I've said many times on this video already that these songs were just everywhere. You're inescapable. This is another one that you could not go anywhere and not hear this song. It was either coming out of somebody's speaker or somebody's TV. This song was everywhere. But since we're talking about Bone Thugs, and I don't get enough time to talk about Bone, let me say something that gets on my nerves. It grinds your boys' gears. I've heard recently people say that Bone Thugs and Harmony were like the original mumble rappers. And like, you can't be mad at today's mumble rappers. You like the Crossroads. Let me tell you something, children. Bone Thugs and Harmony were not mumble rappers because they rapped very quickly. They double timed their flow. But if you listen, you could clearly hear exactly what they were saying. It's almost like what Lil Wayne used to say, like, you're not talking too fast, you listening too slow. Like, they was clearly, if you listen, you could hear exactly what they were saying. You tell me, dear viewer and listener, what Young Thug was saying on Lifestyle. Go ahead, since we want to talk about that. The dude sound like his tongue is 300 pounds. I don't know what he's saying. That was not how Bone presented themselves. They were very quick and sudden with their delivery, and that's what made them unique. But if you just listened and paid attention and didn't get lost in the beat, you heard exactly what they were saying. And they had a lot to say on this song because at this point, hip hop wasn't so, in this era of hip hop, we didn't hear a lot of the type of like introspective stuff, especially from Bone, that they were giving us. They were really like just putting their heart out there. I mean, these are guys talking about for the love of money and Thuggish Rudder's bone like a few minutes ago. We get to this very heartfelt thing about loss and moving on and coming to grips. This was an incredible song. Has to be S tier. Our first S tier, D Roth. We got that up. Our first S tier of the day. And they deserve it. They deserve it. All right, so this is an interesting one from June 29th and July 27th. Not two different dates. June 29th and July 27th. We have another double single. Toni Braxton, You're Making Me High, and Let It Flow. And of course, Let It Flow is from, once again, the Whitney Exhale soundtrack. And it would land on her sophomore album very soon after that. Wow. So first, let's talk about You're Making Me High, because this was a big deal at the time. This was the first time we really had, like, Toni was always attractive and always, you know, she was an attractive person, but her sexuality was never really pushed to the forefront that I remember. This was the first time she got on the cat suit and the little hair, and she's, that's when we first got that era of Toni, and it worked really well. I liked Babyface's backing on this. Of course, that partnership is unbreakable, and they made a great partnership on this. And then they continued the partnership with a completely different song with Let It Flow. One of her most underrated songs, in my opinion. This is what I don't understand. Have y'all seen the Let It Flow video? Why is she like skinny dipping with the White Walkers from Game of Thrones? What is this? Look at that. What is this? Anyway, so even though the video is bizarre, the song is maybe my favorite song from that soundtrack, and everything on that soundtrack is great. Such a good song. If I have to do this, and again, I'm going to try to put them together since they both came out as they were both equally number ones. I'm not separating them. I would say You're Making Me High is A tier. Let It Flow is definitely S tier. You know what? S tier. Let's do S tier for both of them, because I think that Let It Flow is an S. You're Making Me High is an A, but just on that borderline. So we're going to just jack it up. Both of them S tier. We'll do it. All right. So between that Toni Braxton split that we just talked about, there was some history being made in between that split. From July 6th to July 20th, we got another double A single. This time it was from your boy Tupac. How Do You Want It? And California Love. Man, this is an easy one. And I know I have the reputation of being the guy who's always critical of Tupac, and I hate Tupac. I do not hate Tupac. Not at all. I think Tupac is the most influential rapper of all time by far. I mean, most people are imitating Pac and don't even realize it and imitating Pac. That's how deep his influence goes. However, I do not think that Tupac is some hip hop messiah as he is often painted on these interwebs. If Pac was around, I don't even think he would claim that title. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, he was flawed and he admits his flaws. Those albums are not perfect. I'm sorry. All Eyes on Me is not perfect. But we're not talking about that now. We're talking about the singles from All Eyes on Me. And that is what we're discussing here. And both of these singles, this is easy. I'm not going to spend too much time on them because this is easy. California Love, no question, one of the most important singles of the era, maybe of all time, when it comes to big budget videos, when it comes to putting Pac on the map on the mainstream level, like just elevating his status with this song. Incredible. I personally prefer How Do You Want It even more, but even that one in itself is still quite a treat. Casey and JoJo went insane on the freaking chorus on that. Easy. S tier for sure for both of these. I'm with it. I think they both work. All right, here we go again. From August 3rd to August 10th, we have that man again, R. Kelly, I Can't Sleep. And look, y'all aren't going to let me sleep no matter what I do with these songs. So once again, D Roth, just leave it right there. Let's move on to a real king. I've been waiting for this one. Can I talk my ish? Can I talk my ish again? Yes, because we are finally here and I've been waiting for this one. from a magical 2 weeks, from August 17th to August 24th. And then September 21st, we get the number one single from my dude, Keith Sweat, Twisted. Look, I was a Keith Sweat fan from back in the day. Like, everybody loved Keith in the 80s. In 1994, when he dropped his Get Up On It album, that's the album that really started, I started really getting into Keith then, because I was like, this dude is super dope. Especially because he was working with Cut Close, who I'm a super huge fan of, and who actually made a very big impact on this song. More on that later. But when we go into this era of 1996, this is when I go from Keith Sweat fan to Keith Sweat super fan. This is when I get my stan card. This is when the standum becomes real and I'm here for it. No, son. You can't be the stan. I'm the stan, son. You can't be the stan. I'm the stan. You talking about your GOAT? How is that your GOAT? That's your GOAT? How many records has he sold? How many records has your GOAT sold? He hasn't sold more records than Team Breezy. He's not streaming like Team Breezy. What's his streams looking like? He not pulling with Team Breezy does. He's not pulling those type of numbers, cuz. He's not pulling that. How many times has he performed on the BT Awards, cuz? I haven't seen that. How many? Can he do a backflip? He can't even backflip. I never seen Keith Sweat do a backflip. Hold on, D Roth. No, don't cut me off, D Roth. Don't cut me off. No, they need to hear me, dog. They need to hear me, cuz. They need to hear me. Thank you, D Roth, for cutting that out. See, this is why I have issues with you young stans. Because look, I can admit I'm a stan, but I can also admit my fave's flaws. And most importantly, my opinions come directly from music. Why are you talking about backflipping and who got more sales and who did this and what TV show they're on and who co-signed them and what time? I don't care what's trending. Is the music dope? If the music ain't dope, I don't want to hear about it. That's why my standing is different than y'all standing. Anyway, let's talk about some actually good songs like this one, because Keith went crazy. Two things. The reason why this song hits is because Keith knows how to write a song. That man can write a hit, and his secret weapon are those cut close girls. You know how I just said that I can admit when my faves aren't perfect? Nobody will ever confuse Keith Sweat with Luther Vandross. We know that. But that's cool, because we ain't got to make up nothing. We ain't got to make up the vocals. I don't have to lie to y'all. I'm not going to petition for him to be performing at the Super Bowl, because I know what Keith can do and what he can't do. But what he can do is have a dope single with some dope women backing him up. That's why this song is so good. Everybody knows Twisted. Everybody knows this song. And that's why, without any kind of hesitation, we are going S tier. S tier for sure. You're going to say I'm hating. You're going to say I'm biased. I'm going to say it's S tier. All right, from August 13th to September 14th, quite a run. We get New Edition and their song Hit Me Off. This was a big song because this was New Edition's comeback. And this was a huge deal. This is the first time we got all of New Edition in one place. We got the original members. We got Bobby back in the fold. We got Johnny with them. This is everybody. And this was their coming out party. And I gotta be real, kind of like this SWV joint, I didn't love this. It was cool, but because the expectations were so high, I just thought it was cool. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was mind-blowing. Clearly it was successful. We saw this run that it had. I just thought it was all right. Like, it was good for what it is. You're gonna kill me from this one, y'all, but D Roth, let's go B tier. Let's go B tier. They would have much better singles later on. That remix with Missy, oh my gosh, you don't have to worry. Nah, that's S tier. But for this one, it's all right. All right, now from September 28th to October 5th, we saw the dawning of a new era with a number one song from Aaliyah, If Your Girl Only Knew. This was a big deal because Aaliyah was freeing herself from the shackles of that other man that we have been talking about the whole time, that R&B Voldemort. But this is her initial union with Timbaland and Missy, which would define her career and rocket it to new heights. Plus, this is really the point where Timbaland and Missy, who've been working with Jodeci and other artists forever, this is around the time where they start taking off. The second half of 1996, this is where the Missy Timbaland dominance really takes shape, and it starts right here. Of course, this song is great. Its legacy alone makes it S tier level. But to be fair, this is another song that I really liked, but I don't know that it hit S tier. Now, when we get to 1 in a Million and those songs like that, those are unquestioned S tier songs. But for this one, for If Your Girl Only Knew, as much as I love it, I will go A tier for this track. All right, next up is As Yet. And for 1 week, October 12, 1996, we got As Yet with a #1 with Last Night. One of the best ballads of its era. A song that's so great that we just ignored that these dudes were just dancing in front of a screensaver. What was that video? And then don't even say, oh, it was a different time. No, 1996, we were like, what is this video? This is ridiculous. This is crazy. But beyond that, I love As Yet. Their album is underrated. Go check that out if you haven't heard it. But I love the combination of all their voices, because I love that an R&B group, when it has dips and flows, highs and lows, and everyone has a unique delivery and sound. That's why Boyz II Men work so well. Like, everyone is a distinct sound and it blends together so well. It wasn't like 5 dudes who all sounded the same. These are dudes with their own pitches and tones, and it makes this beautiful music together. Love this record. Great song for sure. That said, I don't know if I want to go S tier with them. Great song, no doubt, but let's go A tier. They definitely deserve that. S seemed like it might be a little bit of a stretch, but A tier, they deserve it. All right, next up, for the week of October 19th to the week of November 9th, we got another classic on our hands, Blackstreet's No Diggity. There's no way you walked around on God's green earth in 1996 and did not hear this song at least a billion times. At least a billion times. This song was everywhere. And while we loved Blackstreet before this is a song that really put Blackstreet on the map. And it was the product of also their best album, so this was huge for Blackstreet. That said, I don't know if it's because it's been overplayed. Well, honestly, that wasn't the case, because even in 96, before it was overplayed, I didn't love this song as much as everybody else. It's cool. Maybe it was a little bit too hip-hop focused for me, because when I think of Blackstreet, I just think of just like balladeers, these crooners. I just think of that. So while I appreciate what they did to set the clubs off and continue to set the clubs off today, I don't know, I felt like that they felt better in kind of that ballady space than this space. That said, I can't hate on it. When it comes to legacy, classic songs, it's a classic, no doubt. Just along with that, it would be an S tier. But let's go A tier. I will not go S, because, I don't know, it won't let me. All those years of hearing that song and being like, oh my God, this song again. I can't go S, but I can't deny its legacy and how great this song is. It's just a well put together song. So in that case, A tier for sure. All right, from November 16th to November 23rd, we get another album, or another song that really changed the game. Back to Timbaland, back to Missy, and most importantly, back to Ginuwine for Pony. I remember hearing this song for the first time, and a lot of these early Timbaland songs, when you hear these beats, you remember exactly where you were when you heard them, because it's hard to put into words today, but you were hearing something you had never heard before. You didn't know music could sound like this, because it sounded so completely different. It was mind blowing and honestly frustrating when we live in this era now where everything is just so cookie cutter, boilerplate. Everything sounds the same. I mean, I heard this song and I was like, is that a frog? Is there a frog in this song? Why is there a frog in this song? But that frog worked. Like, it's Timbaland's brain, the way he can just put together just random sounds and bits and turn it into a holistic, just incredible piece of music. Genius level stuff. And look, Ginuwine did his thing, absolutely. The writing on this from Static Major was great. G took this opportunity as a star-making vehicle. This song, to this day, is another song that everybody knows, everybody loves, and if you don't love it, you still know it once that doop, doop, doop. When that beat hits, you know exactly what's to come. So, shout out to Ginuwine for keeping the strip clubs open and operating for 30 years, because you did your work there. This is another easy one, y'all. S-tier ranking for Pony. That's the only way you can do it. All right. This is another one I've been waiting for November 30th to December 14th. Let me sit up straight. Let me poke my chest out. Let me get my flex on, because my boy's back. The king is back. King is back. Keith Sweat and Athena Cage, #1 with Nobody. Sometimes, church, you just got to throw up holy hands. You can't say anything. You just got to throw up holy hands and let the Spirit move you. What a freaking song this is. Once again, the formula is sound. Keith got his pen popping. He brings in his girl Athena. In my opinion, one of the most underrated voices of that era. Kind of the linchpin of Cut Close. She tried to drop an album in 2001. I'm so mad that it was not released. I got an album, and it's actually pretty good. She got some dope songs on it. So I'm so sad that she was not able to fulfill her solo career, because I think she had some juice there. However, we're talking about this song. Another song that is so remembered at this point is memed to death, but memes are good sometimes. It helps extend the legacy of the song. And y'all know it's Keith. Y'all know I'ma love it. Why am I wasting my voice? You know where I'm gonna put it. S tier. This is another banger. Player. What song is better than this? Nobody. You know I was gonna do that. And finally, for the last 2 weeks of the year, we have #1, I Believe I Can Fly. And I believe we can end this tier list right now, D Roth. Move it along. All right, that's it. Another tier list completed. D Roth, let's show the good folks one last time what we working with. Man, look at that list. Like, just A's and S's just everywhere. Just so many hits. I mean, and that other guy, but there's so much great stuff this year. Everything is just top of the level. 1996 was so awesome, y'all. So now it's your turn. You saw the list. Let me know where you would place some of these. I'm sure there are some that I have a little lower that you would move up. Some of y'all might have everything as tier, and I kind of wouldn't blame you for some of these because they were pretty good. That said, let me know what you want me to cover next. So we have done 1995. We're doing 96. Do we want to continue the anniversary thing? Do we want to do 2006? Do we want to do 2016? Let me know, because honestly, 2016 wasn't a bad year itself. This edition of the Soul and Stereo Sessions is a wrap. Y'all know can't nobody do a tier list like me. Nobody. Play on, players.